So, alright, hello and welcome to the VOD. For this video, we will be seeing a Malzahar being played by Aceroth. This is a 1300 elo game. I was just talking about how we don't see that many Malzahars anymore, and I think that Malzahar is still a good champion and can be served well, but I think some of the reasons why he's not very popular is his ulti really has to disable himself as well when you use it. It's very difficult to get that ulti off without putting yourself in really significant danger, and it's also very easy to counter Malzahar's ult with a Quicksilver Sash. So I think that's why we don't see much Malzahar anymore. But I think he can still be very strong. He's very strong in the lane because he's one of the strongest pushers in the game. But hold on one second. Okay, sorry. Dog's not allowed upstairs, and he had snuck up there when I wasn't looking. Good boy. Okay, so for this game, looks like you're going to be laning against Kassadin. So this is a matchup that's going to be... Oh, let me change my sound settings. My bad. Okay, I'm going to have to restart this this replay because I didn't have my sound settings set up properly. My bad, but it's okay. We're just going to go ahead and get right back into it. Dexter, come here. I have to take the squeaky toys away from my dog every time I stream. Yeah, taking the squeaky toys away. Oh. So, anyway, but what I was saying about Malzahar. So, the Malzahar Kassadin matchup should be significantly in your favor, at least early. Kassadin's biggest weakness and the problem and why really his only weakness is his very weak early laning phase, because he's melee, he doesn't have enough mana to spam his spells, he doesn't really have enough burst to really do much. So you should really take advantage of that with Kassadin. All you have to do is just like right click him and throw an E on him every time he ever wants to last hit something. You're just gonna right click and E him, and what you're gonna do by that is you're gonna force him. He's not gonna be able to last hit unless he starts using his spells to last hit, and that forces him to last hit with spells, so he can't harass you. So that's what your goal should be in this matchup, and you can also just push to his turret all day with your wave clearing abilities, and then that's gonna force him to lose last hits at the turret. Kassadin can actually last hit at the turret pretty well if he takes just 1 point in his W, so it's not as effective against Kassadin as it can be against others. But for example, like if you're playing Malzahar against LeBlanc, all you want to do is you just want to push to your turret, push to their turret all day, and that's how you would beat someone like LeBlanc on Malzahar. But so I think in this matchup, boots and 3 potions would be a great start for you. Going Doran's Ring is risky because Kassadin could forego the CS to just start harassing you down with Qs early with a Doran's Ring, and that would really not be beneficial for you. So I think starting boots and 3 potions is definitely a good start, and that's what you win. So I approve there. It's also going to let you really exploit your range advantage on Kassadin with the move speed benefit that you're going to have. If Kassadin doesn't start boots, you're going to be so much faster than him. You're going to really be able to right click harass him and run away before he can do anything else. So, or it's also going to let you get those right clicks off on him if he does come up and Q you. You're still going to be able to get all those right clicks off to counter harass him. So the HUD is blinking, really. That's oh, it's not borderless window. That's really weird. Okay, it should be better now, right? I don't know why it reset to like typical full screen instead of borderless window, but HUD should be not blinking, right? Okay. Thanks for pointing that out. That would have been a bummer. Okay, so we see that Kassadin actually got fed his blue buff really early, and that's going to be a big disadvantage for you. He's really going to be able to cast his Qs. But one thing I want to say is right there, you just let him Q you for free. Don't do that. Right click him. You have range and he doesn't. 2 or 3 auto attacks. 2 auto attacks is going to do more damage than that Q is going to do to you. So don't be so afraid. I don't know why you're so afraid right now. Yeah, he can Q you, but you could just right-click him and still come out on top of that trade. So like just drop an E and right click him, and you're gonna really come out ahead of those trades. So don't, like, it seems like you're playing very passively and scared right now because he got that first blue buff, but you can't do that. If you let Kassadin farm like you're doing, this is how you lose to a Kassadin. This is when Kassadin is in his absolute weakest state. And like, you miss so much CS right there. That was probably 3 waves of CS, so 18 CS is what you could have been at. You're only at 6. So you missed a lot of CS there because you're just too afraid of this Kassadin. And you can't be afraid of a Kassadin early. Like, he's not going to do very much damage, and you have a big range advantage. So don't be like, yes, he has blue buff, but that doesn't mean you should be afraid of him. It just means you should right click him. Like right there, right click him. He just used all of his spells. He literally cannot do anything else against you. Like, if he uses his Force Pulse and his Q, he literally can't do anything to you. And that's when you just right-click him, because he's not going to be able to right-click you. You have a range advantage. And this is one thing that's extremely important when you're laning, is using range advantage effectively. Like right now, right-click him. This is free. One thing that I want to always get across in my lessons is you never want to give your lane opponent free damage on you. So right there, that Q he got for free. But if he's in range to Q you, he's in range for you to right-click him. So this is one of the biggest things when you're laning against Kassadin, as anyone with ranged. You take advantage of that, and once again, he Qs you, and you don't right-click him. And this is why you're losing the lane, and why you're getting pushed back, is because you're playing way too passive. You really need to, like, it seemed like you really got scared off by that early blue buff he got, but you cannot let Kassadin get an advantage early. He's the weakest mid champion in the game before like level 6, and you really need to realize you need to realize that and really bully him at that point. So you're in a really bad position because you didn't get an advantage on this Kassadin early. In fact, you're only at 12 CS in about 5 minutes, so you were playing so scared that you actually got zoned out a lot of CS. And one thing I do want to say is that when you're last hitting at a turret on Malzahar, sometimes your E is not helpful. Like there, we saw you actually miss almost all of those last hits to the turret, and because your E just did a little too much damage to them when they came, or because you had to kill the thing with your E on, and that made you miss last hits elsewhere. So so right there, if you flash ignited and got one more auto attack, that would have been a dead Kassadin. So you need to recognize the burst potential of Malzahar with ignite, and that should have been a dead Kassadin when he got that E on him. That was a mistake by him to get that E, and that he definitely should have died. So, but that's okay. So the two big mistakes you're making right now is anytime you're playing against a Kassadin as a ranged champion, you need to just bully the hell out of him early. That's really not cool of your Nocturne to just feed him a kill like that, but so that's definitely a bummer. But the other thing is like you can probably kill this Lee Sin if he jumps on you. You could just E ignite and just get like 4 or 5 right clicks of the Voidling, and he would die too. So so you're not in a good position because this Kassadin doesn't have much CS, but you should have 50 CS right now. You should have like double the CS you do have. So, but you're okay because Kassadin wasn't CSing well either. So you're not in that bad of a position. One thing I will say is that this is probably not a smart buy for you. Against Kassadin, at this point, he's going to start really Q harassing you hard. And so you might want to invest, instead of that second Doran's, in getting quite a bit of HP pots. Those HP pots are going to let you lane against this Kassadin longer, because there's a good chance that he's going to put a lot of heavy harass on you. You could go like a few HP pots, maybe even a mana pot or two, and some wards instead of that Doran's ring. It's just an awkward amount to come back with, because yeah, you really do want that second Doran's ring, but it's not bad. Yeah, and someone's saying in RC you could have gotten MR too. I mean, if you really wanted to, you could have gotten like a no magic mantle. That's the item I'm thinking of. A no magic mantle and a couple HP pots if you wanted. But so now that you're level 6, it's definitely not a bad idea to go looking for some ganks like you're doing. And it looks like you're asking me in IRC, what about starting with the Catalyst? Would that have been bad? No, Catalyst is a good. Rod of Ages isn't a bad item on Malzahar. The thing is, if you're going to go Rod of Ages, you don't go... so good ulti to pick up that kill. That was a really easy kill. Definitely an acceptable use of your ulti to just grab that Lee Sin for the easy kill. But anyway, back to the Rod of Ages. Rod of Ages is a fine item on Malzahar. If you're going to go Rod of Ages, you don't go double Dorans. Instead, you go Boots, and then you go into Catalyst, and then you go into Rod of Ages. So now with your blue buff, what you really want to be doing is you really want to start shoving the lane to Kassadin's turret. And what this is going to do, it's going to really prevent Kassadin from ganking. One of Kassadin's biggest strengths is his ganks because he's so mobile. He just, he'll come out from a bush and be instantly on top of you, and his ganks are very strong. But with your blue buff, you have, pretty much unlimited mana. So you really want to take advantage of that and really start... Okay, once again, this is really big. You cannot let Kassadin get free damage on you. Your E was up when he jumped on you, and you definitely could have E'd him and then gotten auto attacks off too. But now what's happened, because you're letting him get free damage, and then once again more free damage. Now you're low, so low in fact that he can kill you with Ignite, that you are going to get zoned while he's full health. But see, if you had been trading with him as well, because you're leveling E, so that's going to do a lot of damage. If you gotten that E on him both times he jumped on you, he would also be low, so he couldn't play aggressive. And this is once again what I was saying when you would want the HP pots, because that's what Kassadin's going to do. He's going to try to whittle you down. With your ulti up, and yeah, I was going to say... good ulti, way to grab that Kassadin before he could silence you. So that was a really good play by you. I was just gonna say, with your ulti, you can just go grab that Kassadin and get the kill with the Malphite. So that was a really good heads up play. You saw your Malphite there. So good job there. That's gonna be helpful to keep you in this game. But I really can't stress enough how you, when you're laning on any champion, any matchup, any lane, you never let the opponent get free hits on you. Especially if it's like an AP, like a Kassadin, or even like a Zillion or something. If they use their spells on you, guess what? They're out of those spells. That's when you go and you hit them with your spells. Like if Zillion bombs you, you don't just like run away and let yourself get bombed. You go and you use your spells and trade the damage back onto him. So. So you definitely want to try to push aggressively with this blue buff while you have it. Okay, and here's what I was saying. The Catalyst that you picked up now, I wouldn't go both Kata and Double Thorns. I would choose which one you want to go. If you want to go with the Rod of Ages early, or if you want to go to... yeah, and so here's what I'm talking about with the Kassadin ganking. So this is why you push up with Malzahar and you keep the lane pushed to his turret, because that prevents Kassadin from getting ganks off like that. And that's one of Kassadin's biggest strengths. So you really want to avoid letting the Kassadin roam like that. And you do that by keeping your lane pushed to your turret with heavy pressure. So here, you should just like E this Kassadin and then get some right clicks on him. I think that you'll win out trades. Like if he has his force pulse up, then he'll hit a little harder. But if depending on how many auto attacks off, you'll still trade pretty evenly with him. And then you're in a good position because you have HP pots and Catalyst. So even if you come out like 50 damage behind on a trade, that's winning for you because you have these HP potions and the Catalyst. These guys are really far overextended though, so this should be a pretty easy gank for you if you come. These guys are definitely dead. I was gonna say don't try not to ult Alistar though, because Alistar his ult will break him out of your ult. So if you don't know if Alistar has used his ult or not, try not to use your ult on it. Okay, so that was actually really good timing on your ulti there, except, so what happened there is Alistar ultied right before, or right after right before you ultimate. So his ulti wasn't able to break him out of your ulti, but you still end up focusing. The cow, and the cow with ulti doesn't take very much damage. Like if you had ended up saving that ulti for the Kassadin when he jumped up there, you would have easily killed that Kassadin. So that wasn't bad. So there's a couple things in IRC. Someone's saying you should smart cast. I'm not. You can't tell if he's smart casting. This is like the LoL replay client. So, but yeah, you should smart cast on Malzahar. It's very important to help get your combo out much faster. Another one had a general question. When playing an AP mid, say you start boots and the matchup goes fine. You have to back early, can't afford your catalyst. You buy mana plus HP, you go back to lane and get wrecked. If you're forced so early that the only thing you could afford is mana, I see what you're saying, mana plus HP, so you buy the 2 crystals. You go back to lane and get wrecked. Should you buy a Doran's? Probably not, because if you have mana and your crystal, like if you're buying a Doran's, you could just finish your catalyst, and finishing your catalyst is going to be really helpful, so... No, what I'm saying is that how it shows that these spells are not smartcast, that doesn't mean that he wasn't using smartcast in his game. It means like my LoL replay client is not set to smartcast. Like I could change it right now, and see now you see that the queue is set to smartcast. So, but anyway. Yeah, so you could easily. Oh, that was a big miss, but good grab by you. That's good. One thing when you're playing Malzahar, you always want to try to get your pool out before your ulti, but like in that situation, you really don't need to use your pool. Like you could say, you really don't need to use anything else other than your ulti to pick up that kill. So. And don't be afraid to throw that E off as you're running away, like E that Sivir, but. Now that was a miss. Malphite just missed it. Kassadin just ran towards him and Malphite ulted behind him. So that was a pretty bad Malphite ult. He definitely just completely missed that Kassadin, but it's kind of silly to like Malphite ult a Kassadin, because Kassadin can just Rift Walk out of it, like if the Kassadin's reactions are fast enough. So like if Malphite ult on a Kassadin who has Rift Walk up is probably gonna miss. But your CS is doing okay now. At 16 minutes, you should probably have more than 90 on Malzahar. It's really easy to get like 90% of the CS on Malzahar, so you should be at 90 at like 10 minutes or so. Sivir just flashed, I guess? I don't know why. Yeah, Cass has like no CS, which he shouldn't. Cass should get like 0 CS in a Cass Malzahar matchup. So, in fact, Kassadin would have way less CS if you played the matchup better early and you played aggressively. He would have like 20 less CS, but. So you're not playing bad right now. In fact, you're 3-0. You're doing pretty well. One thing that I will say is it's never a good idea to walk around carrying this much gold. Like this dragon fight would be so much safer if you had this 1900 gold spent. But it looks like they're overcommitting top. So they have like 3 top, which means that it's just a completely free dragon for you guys. So right now you guys should be looking at pushing bottom. So you just did this dragon, and you know that 3 are top. That means that you guys should just go bottom and get this turret, because you're not going to get top in time to stop this turret. So what you should have done is you should have gone bottom to get their turret. So you just end up trading turrets and getting the dragon. So. I guess your team's just deciding to fight, which is fine. So you could flash ulti that Kassadin right there. I don't know where'd your pool go. Your pool's on cooldown, but I don't know where you put it. But that's okay. You guys are picking up all the kills. So unfortunately, Nocturne did end up dying, and I feel like if you flash grabbed that Kassadin, you definitely would have saved the Nocturne. But that's okay. You guys are still fine. So that was still a pretty decent fight. So if you're gonna build Rod of Ages, you should just go buy it. Like, you have so much money right now, and the earlier you get Rod of Ages, the better, because it has to charge up. So you should be looking to buy. You also, you have enough to get like your boots too and Rod of Ages. So you just need to back right now. Like, you have 3,000 gold. You shouldn't be looking to fight when you have 3,000 gold. Actually, the Sivir's really dumb, so she ends up dying. But, like, you guys are way overcommitted now. And now they're back. They've had chances to buy. So, you got Dragon, won, like, 2 different fights, but you didn't, you haven't gone to back. So you're not any stronger for getting those objectives like Dragon and winning those fights. So you guys stayed way too long without buying, and this is going to result in, well, Kennen died, and there's a good chance Malphite's going to die here too. Okay, so Malphite had to use Flash, and you're also probably going to lose your blue buff, because they can just go take your blue buff right now. So that overextension right there just caused like an unnecessary death of your teammate, and it's actually going to cause Graves to die. So 2 unnecessary deaths and your blue buff, which is just a sad day, because I mean you really want blue buff on Malzahar. So you're pretty big right now. But you need to start being, scared, because like your Graves is behind, only 50 CS. Yeah, their Kassadin's behind too, but so is your Graves. And like Lee Sin's pretty big right now, and Sivir's really big right now. So if you can in team fights, you want to try to kill Sivir. But if you can't, then you're just going to have to kill like whoever you can kill. So the big problem with Malzahar ulti is you're not going to really be in a situation where you're going to be able to ult their Sivir or something. Because if you do, you're just going to be in like a horrible, unsafe position. It's going to be really easy to die. So most of the time, the most effective use of Malzahar ulti is going to be like to ulti their Singed or their tank. So when Singed comes in to try to initiate with a fling, you just grab him and just melt him. And that's typically the most effective use of Malzahar ulti. Because if you just kill Singed right away at the start of a fight, like, what are they going to do in the fight? They no longer have their tank. So, like, that just means that Sivir is going to be really exposed. So, it's not a bad use of Malzahar ulti to just insta-give their initiator. And in fact, that's typically the only thing you can use it for, so. So you guys should be keeping up the pressure in all lanes. You see like Kassadin is able to roam, and they're able to commit like 4 people to this gank bottom, and they're only able to do that because you have no one pushing top, you have no one pushing mid, and this is something that I say a lot in my lessons, and I try to stress, but pressure is so important in this game. And if you're not pressuring lanes, then it enables the enemy team to just kind of roam and do whatever they want. And so, sorry, my cat is like in my face. It looks like you guys almost killed Sivir and forced her to flash away, so that's good. Looks like you ulted her. Sorry that I missed that, but cat is OP. So this is good with Kennen ulti. You should be fighting. Like, you should have dropped your W in there with the Kennen ulti. That would have been a really good combination. I don't know why you were so afraid, but. And I always see Kassadin doing Kassadin things, where he jumps in, kills someone, and jumps out. But you definitely shouldn't have been so afraid. Like, if you got your W in there when Kennen ulted, that would have been really good for your team. So that's a good kill on the Kassadin. You guys really need to start looking at trying really hard to kill that Sivir. Because that Sivir is just, it's the biggest problem on the enemy team. 143 CS, she's really strong. So. Your Malzahar, your little Voidling being a bro and blocking Lee Sin Qs. It's always nice. I always hate when I'm playing a skill shot champion, Mal's Voidlings block them. Because I never like look for them. If we're chasing through the forest, I'm just like lining it up to like catch the Malzahar or someone. I never think about the Voidling. I hate that. But yeah. Yeah, this is a good question, RC. Why hasn't anyone picked up red yet? I don't know, but your red was sitting there for a very long time without anyone getting. And that's something in solo queue you can help your team do. You can be like, hey, someone get this red. You can point that out. Because, most people are going to recognize, like, hey, red's a good thing, and it's there. I should go get it. So, one thing I do want to mention is that you haven't bought a ward all game, and you've definitely had enough money to buy wards when you go back. And if you have the money, you should always be picking up wards for your team. So right there, you got way too close to that Kassadin, and that was a bad timing on your flash. There's pretty much no reason to flash into the Dragon Pit because you get, I mean, you're completely dead. Like, Sivir ultied, so flashing just to create distance is not going to save you at all. They're just going to close that distance with Sivir ulti. So the only way the flash would save you there is if you were to flash over a wall. So that was a waste of flash. But what happened in that fight and why you were forced to use that flash is you weren't paying attention to where that Kassadin was. Because Kassadin has so much range on his like Rift Walk to combo, you really have to stay away from him, and you got really close to him on that wall, and so that caused you to get jumped on by the Kassadin. You know, you're already kind of low, and that's why you had to get out of there. So just be a little more careful about your positioning with against Kassadins. I mean, the thing I'm noticing in this play is it just seems like you're not used to playing against a Kassadin. So anytime you're playing against a Kassadin, you have to be really aggressive early in the laning phase. He's really weak. Exploit your range advantage. You can just right-click on Kassadin, and that's how you win the lane early. Because remember, he's melee. And if his spells are on cooldown, you can't do anything. So the other thing is, like, you really have to mind your positioning against a Kassadin. Because if you get too close, he's able to jump on you and combo you. And that's really going to ruin your day as Malzahar. So this team is going to be really hard for you to ult anyone effectively, because Ali can interrupt your ult in two ways, Singed can fling you out of your ult, Lee Sin can kick you, and Kassadin can silence you. So as far as your ultis, you're pretty much just going to have to either blow it at the very beginning of the fight when Singed runs in before anyone else is in range, or just save it till you know that Kassadin Q is down, Singed flip is down, and Ali's combo is down. Those are the only situations that you're really going to be able to ulti in. Like, you could actually just grab this Singed right here. Like, this would be really good to just like grab that Singed right there with your ulti, because it would pretty much instantly kill him. And no one. Okay, actually, you got a really good ulti off on Sivir. It's a bummer. It looked like you just weren't quite in range to chain your E off of your ulti, but it's really unfortunate that your team wasn't there to help pick that up. So your pool's been off cooldown, you're not using it. You could have dropped your pool right here, and what that would do is that would force Lee Sin to get off of your teammates. But it was good that you picked up the Kassadin when he came in. But and this goes back to what I'm saying is, like, using your ulti when they're trying to initiate with Singed. Like, Singed runs into turret range, you're way back here, Singed is here, and his whole team's right here. You can just grab that Singed and just kill him before anyone else can do anything. So one more subtle use of Malzahar's W that I haven't seen you really using is it has a really strong ability to control a fight and zone a fight. So like in that situation where your team was fighting Lee Sin and Lee Sin was winning that fight, you drop a pool, even if it's not going to really get that much damage on the Lee Sin, what it's going to do is it's going to force the Lee Sin to just run away. And you really control the flow of a fight and where you fight in that situation. Like if you're getting, like, if they Sivir ult and you know they want to initiate and you guys are like lined up here, you drop a pool right here, and that means like, hey, they're either going to run through your pool and start fighting you while standing on the pool, which is a big loss for them, or they're going to have to like walk around the pool, and it's going to be harder for them to initiate. That's a really good Malphite ult. So really good, okay, that cannon ult was totally unnecessary, but good pickup on the Sivir kill. So what you guys need to be looking at doing right now is pushing this advantage. You just killed their strongest player by far. Now you guys should just go kill these guys. Like, this is 4v5. This is not a time to farm your red buff. Like, you just killed their by far strongest person, and they're in your jungle 4v5. Like, you guys need to be going on this. This is something that you, as a player, need to step up and lead your team and get them to go on that. All you have to do is ping it and say 4v5, and then your team will be like, hey, it is 4v5, and they'll go on that. So that was like, you guys just completely 100% wasted that Sivir kill. Like, you just killed their carry, their strongest person on their team, the one with almost 200 CS, and you didn't do anything with it. That was a big mistake. And now you guys are sieging with no cannon ult, no Malphite ult. So you guys are weak because your big R's that you're dependent on are down. and you're pushing 5v5 now. So you 100% missed your opportunity to push and do something, and that's a big mistake right there. Singe does have a lot of MR, so until you get a Void Staff, you're really not going to be able to insta-give him with your ulti. Like, so I wouldn't really ulti Singe. It's just like, it's one of the only things you are going to be able to ulti, because anyone else, like, you're going to be too close to all those disables to really get that ulti off. But I don't know. So I mean, it's tough using Malzahar ulti, and it's one of the reasons why he's not really played very often. It's like, there's just so little situations where you can use your ulti. And then if, like, anyone gets a Quicksilver Sash, your ulti is just useless on that person. So. You guys do have really strong poke, though. So you guys are definitely a team that's going to be able to just sit in front of the turret and poke away. The thing you're going to have to be careful with is getting caught, though, because they have really strong Initiate with Singe and Alistar. So you guys are a strong kiting team, but you're going to have to really watch and be careful about getting caught with Singe or Alistar. So that was really good damage you got off on Sivir. Yeah, Malphite's going. That was a really good decision by Malphite to go on that. And a good grab on Lee Sin there. I didn't pick up the kill. You should have gotten the Ignite off on him to secure that kill, but that's okay. Yeah, you guys are still gonna easily come out really far ahead on this fight. So Malphite should stop diving, and you guys should just start taking the turret. Like, there's no reason to chase the Singe and, like, do all this damage to try to kill Singe when you can just take the turret. But that's okay. You guys did end up getting him, but now Kassadin's in a good position to clean up. Like, I don't know why Kassadin didn't kill Kennen. That was a big mistake. But I feel like you guys played that really poorly, and you guys could have easily gotten an inhibitor off that. If you guys just hadn't, like, kept chasing that Singe and just started hitting your turret, you would have really you would have gotten the inhibitor pretty easy. And in fact, because you overextended and you're really low, you guys are really in danger of losing this Baron right now, because Lee Sin and Sivir can 2-man it. So you guys really need to watch that right now. And in fact, you should probably you should go poke your head over there and see if they're doing it right now. Okay, actually we see Lee Sin and Ward, so they're not doing it. That's good. That's a big mistake by them. That was a free Baron for them, because Lee Sin and Sivir could probably just 2-man it. So that was a total free Baron for them. They didn't take, so that's okay. But you're doing a pretty good job in team fights. Like that ulti on Lee Sin was really good, because Lee Sin was the only one here. You recognize that, like, no one's going to be able to interrupt your ulti, and you just grabbed him. The one thing with Malzahar, and this is something I do a lot when playing Malzahar that I need to get better on, is always try to ulti close enough so that you can immediately cast, like, your Ignite and your E out of your ulti, because the range on his ulti is actually further than, like, the range on his E. It's subtle, but you can... There, if I lock the camera, you guys can actually see that. Well, once this is off cooldown, I can do it. But so you see the range on his ulti is just a little bit bigger. So if you ulti from max range, you can't immediately chain your E and Ignite, because Ignite's about the same range of your E. So that's one thing that, like, when I play Malzahar, I do that all the time. I ulti from max range, and you don't want to ulti from max range. You want to be a little closer so that you can immediately cast that E and Ignite. So just a very subtle tip with Malzahar that you wanna do slightly better. And I've noticed, like, a lot of your ultis are coming from that maximum range. So you have your blue buff, so don't be afraid to just throw these spells out here. And one thing you can do is communicate with your team and be like, hey, I'm almost Void Staff, because that's going to really increase your damage a lot. So you can be like, hey, I almost have my Void Staff if we want to wait to fight. So here you could just grab Singe, and like, that would just be 100% dead Singe. But very good job grabbing that Sivir. So big mistake by that Sivir to get close enough to you to be grabbed, but good play by you to recognize that. So the reason I'm saying is, like, you should grab Singe there is because, like, against a good Sivir, she's not going to make that mistake where she gets in range of you to just ulti her. But against a bad Sivir, like, hey, that's great to just save your ult to grab her. So that's a really good team fight. You're team fighting really well with Malzahar. So that's I think your team fights are really strong with Malzahar, and that's the strongest part of your Malzahar play. The only thing that I have to say with you in team fights is try to ult just a little closer, because that max range ult, you can't chain your E or ignite out of it. So try to always move just a little closer before you ult. But your Mal's team fight is good. It's pretty solid. So like I mean, I've said a few times, like in general, I think the better play is to like grab that singed, but like your ulti's up, so don't let them kill this Graves. Like you could have just killed that Kassadin. I mean, he had 1100 life, and that's how much your ulti does. So if you just, like, when Kassadin flashed and Rift walked in to get close to that Graves, you could have just grabbed him and just killed him with ENR. But that's okay. Don't underestimate Malzahar burst. It does a lot of damage. So just the things I'm noticing in your play that you need to improve. You need to know your matchups. Like Kassadin is a lane that you play very aggressive on early. And in general with Malz, you play really aggressive. Like, if they want to try to harass you, you E them and right-click them, and you'll almost always come out ahead on trades with Malzahar. Like, you probably can't out-trade like a Cassiopeia, but other than that, just E's with right-clicks and Voidlings, it's going to win pretty much all the trades against AP mids, so... but yeah, you need to work on your laning. Like, you never, in any matchup with any champion, you never let them get free hits on you. You always try to trade. If they hit you once, you try to hit them once. So you kind of got bullied so far, but good grab on the Singe. That's fine. It really helped. It really helped that Graves gain distance and survive. So that was a good grab on Singe. You didn't end up killing him, but like I said, I'm pretty sure that saved your Graves, so. I think you needed one more right click to kill him. Nocturne's got it. It's okay. Alright, so you guys picked up the kill. You guys are probably going to win this game. You've won the last several team fights pretty decisively, so you guys are in a pretty good position to win this game. Malphite just needs to leave. Baron's up. You guys could be looking to Baron right now. I don't think your team should be pushing. Like, Sivir's really hard to push against, and they were both, oh man, they were both like 600 HP, so I really don't know what your team was thinking. Like, you guys had a free Baron if you backed up and regrouped and just did Baron, but instead two of you guys just like suicided and gave them 2 kills, so that was really silly, but... I was gonna say, this Graves better give you that blue buff, so that's good. The one thing that I'm also noticing is you're not landing very many Qs, so it's just something to work on and practice with, landing that Q. It's a much different targeting mechanism than a lot of spells, so something that mostly is just going to take more practice than anything, but... Yeah, so I haven't been hitting tab very much this game. Thanks for reminding me. My bad. I haven't been really talking about CS because there hasn't been much straight laning going on. But so you're in a really good position right now because you have like your core pretty much. You have Rod of Ages, Death Cap, Void Staff, and a blue pot. So you're really strong right now. You guys should go be looking to like force a Baron. Yeah, you guys should check that blue while you're there. Like, it's kind of silly not to, but you guys should be probably looking to force a Baron. Like, you have an inhib down, so you know that mid lane's going to be pushing in. So they're going to have to stop that mid lane. Like, you can't leave it alone. And so that's a very good position for you to go and force a Baron. And the thing is, though, always remember, if you're trying to force a Baron like this, when all 5 are up, if they come, you get off the Baron and fight them. Oh, another thing is, since you have a Kennen that went Woda, you should also grab a Woda. Oh man, that's a mistake. But you should just have grabbed that Lee Sin. So this is one thing I really want to mention. Suppression is the only CC that prevents smiting. You can smite if you're silenced, you can smite if you're stunned, you can smite if you're rooted, you know, you can smite through anything except suppression. So as soon as that Lee Sin jumped in there, if you had just ulted him right away, you could have just prevented that smite steal and secured Baron for your team. So That's something that you have to expect to be able to react fast enough, but you have to realize, like, hey, this Lee Sin might come in to take this Baron, and then you have to just be ready to grab him. It's one of the reasons why Skarner is such a very strong smite stealer when you're playing jungle Skarner, because he can just go in there and suppress their jungle and then smite it for himself. So it's one of the reasons Skarner is a very strong smite stealer, but that's one play you could have made there. It would have been hard, and it definitely, like, the thing is like, you can't outsmite Lee Sin because his kick does damage based on how much health is missing, and on Baron that's like an extra smite. So that's like 2 smites for your team, for Lee Sin, and so it's going to be really hard for Nocturne to outsmite a Lee Sin like that. So one thing that could have happened is someone could have body blocked the Q. It didn't look like anyone did that. But back to the Woda. Like, if I knew I had a cannon on my team, I probably would have gone like double Doran's Deathcap Woda instead of Rod of Ages Deathcap, because double Woda is so strong. In his latest patch, it's not as strong. They slightly nerfed Woda, but I think double Woda is still going to be really good. So just something to guide and build. If you're running double AP, definitely consider changing your build up a little bit to go double Woda. But and here we see the zoning potential of your pool. Like, you drop the pool and they just instantly run away from it. So
Your team has destroyed a turret.
I was gonna say you could have just grabbed that alley and killed him, but it was a good idea you didn't. He might have had ult up. I was thinking he didn't have ult up, but there's a good chance he did. And if he did, he would have just ultied your ult. You're gonna have to flash away from this soon. So that's a big mistake by you. You have flash up, and like all your spells up, and you didn't use them. So I feel like one mistake was that you didn't run with your team, so you guys got separated, and the other is that you didn't even use flash. You could have started running this way and then flashed over the wall, and possibly at least would have gotten you distance. So like, one thing you could have done, started running this way, flash over the wall, and get in a bush so that you can just start ulting, like just drop all your stuff and start ulting Sivir out of the bush. And yeah, Ali's gonna like interrupt your ult, but you can actually probably get enough damage off to just kill Sivir because you're so far ahead. Yeah, like instead of this Rylai's, I would be turning this into a Woda, just because you also have a Kennen, and Malphite really benefits from Woda and spell and AP too. So you have a good team for double Woda. You should recognize that and do that. But anyway, so the enemy team has no inhibs anymore. I think that's pretty much it for this game. But the biggest thing is, like, when you're playing against Kassadin, be a bully and be very aggressive early. The other thing is, in general, anytime you're laning, you never give the person you're laning against free hits. Recognize, like, for example, with Kassadin, if he Q and E's you, that's it. He's done. He's not going to do anything else to you. And that's when you use your spells on right-click him. So never, ever let someone get free hits on you. The other thing is just a little trick. Get a little closer when you ult, because your ult has bigger range than anything else, so you can chain your spells right after your ult. And then, yeah, other than that, like, your team fought pretty well with Malzahar. Build double Woda if you have double AP team, but your team fights were pretty good. I don't have too much to say about your team fighting. Was not bad. So work on landing those Qs too. Those Qs were you missed a lot of them, but it's a hard skill to land, so I didn't want to really concentrate too much on that. But overall, it's a pretty solid game from you. You just really played that matchup really poorly in the beginning. You just can't be afraid of Kassadin early. Like, that's when you win lane against the Kassadin. But yeah, so that's all for that one. It was not a bad game. If you like this video, please subscribe to my YouTube, like the video, subscribe to my owned. And yep, every Tuesday and Thursday I stream at 11 a.m. Eastern time. That's GMT -5, so you can catch me live. Alright, thanks. Alright, so now, before we get into the next replay, I will take some questions on IRC if you want. If you're watching and you're not in IRC, you really should be in IRC. It's really easy. I'll show you how. You open your browser, you go to rockalockalili.com, and then there's this convenient IRC tab, and then you enter a nickname and you just hit join chat, just like that. And then you're talking, just like bam, you're in here, we're talking. It's really easy, so you guys definitely should. So yeah, for the next few minutes, I'll go ahead and answer any questions you guys might have. Just lay them on me. Damn, it works. Every time I do that, I get like 3 to 5 people to join IRC. It makes me happy. We're gonna get some cat cam up in here. I think it's like cat butt cam right now. Yeah, you get to see some good cat butt right now. Buddy. African or European? No. Waffles or pancakes? Neither. I hate breakfast food. I don't like breakfast food, so. I don't like breakfast food. I love bagels and I love cereal. Like I could eat cereal 3 meals a day for like every day of the week. I love cereal. But I really don't like pancakes. I really don't like waffles. I don't like sausage. I'm not a big fan of bacon. Like I'll eat bacon. It tastes good, but I'm never like, "Oh my god, bacon." But cereal is amazing. Like I love cereal and I love bagels. I get really eat cereal and bagels like every meal of every day. Period. Okay, cat, you gotta go. Okay, so I see you're saying I'm like 1489. How would you like to hit 1700? I think I perform higher than where I am at. Everyone thinks they perform higher than where they're at, and like I'm sorry, but that's just the truth. I have like maybe 10% of players think they belong at the elo they are, and everyone else thinks they belong at higher elo. So the thing to keep in mind is like just don't concentrate on getting a higher elo. Concentrate on getting better at the game, and a higher elo will come from that. So like if you want to get higher elo, don't concentrate on getting higher elo. Just concentrate on improving your play and just keep playing ranked games and concentrate on getting better. And that's how you rise in elo. Like when I first started playing ranked, I got like 1300 and I was like, I think I'm a 1600 player. And that was like a year ago, and like I'm in 1600s now, and I can tell you right now, back then, I am nowhere near like anywhere close to the player I am now. Like when I was 1300, I used to think that I belonged in 1600s, and now that I'm in 1600s and I play against 1600 players, I was nowhere near that level when I thought I was. So let's see. Apart from Graves and maybe Vayne, who's the strongest AD carry at the moment, in my opinion, I don't think Graves and Vayne are the strongest AD carries. I think Graves is overrated. I think he's always been overrated. He's good, don't get me wrong, but I've never thought he was significantly stronger than anyone else. And it's like Siver's good, Graves is good, Vayne is good, but her laning phase is weak. I think Caitlyn is really solid. I think Caitlyn is kind of forgotten about a lot, but I really think Caitlyn's very good right now. I think Corky's really good too. Like, I think all the AD carries are actually pretty well balanced, honestly. Wasn't the Sivir nerf pretty bad? I don't think the Sivir nerf was that bad, honestly. I think Sivir is still really strong. I think Sivir still has the problem that late game she doesn't do much outside them being an ult bot. Her range is so short, she just doesn't get many auto attacks off in late game fights. That's the reason I've never been a big fan of Sivir and why I don't play her. I hate playing with short range. Kate is my favorite AD carry to play because I really love the range advantage that you have on everyone. But I can't play Sivir. I hate Sivir because of her short range. But like Sivir's really strong in the laning phase, but I think she really falls off, and she makes up for that because her ult has so much team utility. But the Ashe buff wasn't enough. I'm not sure. I think Ashe was highly underrated before that buff. I really didn't think she needed much. So. Right, Trist outranges Kate late game, but I mean in the laning phase, like, the range is so important. When I'm playing an AP mid like your Nivea who's long cooldowns on harass abilities, what do you do in lane against mids with spammier abilities like cast, Ari, or Rise? What happens is that anytime my Q goes down, they will immediately push up and force me backwards because my 40 damage auto attacks are much weaker than a level 2 Q and W. Well, then don't let your Q go down. When you're playing someone like a Nivea and you miss your Q and you miss your spell shot or your stun, this is the same thing that happens with like Brand. If you miss a spell, and a good enemy will take advantage of that and go fight you because you just lost a huge chunk of your damage. So when you're playing someone like a Nivea, you don't spam your spells. You save your spells, and then if like Cassiopeia or Rise want to come and be aggressive on you, that's when you hit them with your spells because you're going to do very big burst if you land your Q and your E on a Nivea. But if you miss those, yeah, you're going to lose that trade, and you deserve to lose that trade because you missed your spell. So. Kate, see, yeah, a lot of people think that Kate falls off no steroid. Well, she does have a steroid with her passive. It's a small steroid, but it's still a steroid. But Kate's but the thing you have to remember is like Kate, because of her range, will get more auto attacks off than any other AD carry. Like apart from Tristana, because of and maybe Ezreal because of his mobility. But the more auto attacks you get off, the more damage you're gonna do, and that's why like Kate is gonna be strong in the late game, even though she doesn't have steroids. Her range allows her to get more auto attacks off, and she plays a different role of AD carry. She plays a longer range poking AD carry rather than someone like Vayne, who when she fights is going to go and commit very hard to a fight. Like I play a lot of Kate, and I've never felt like I fall off late game that hard. So. I think the best first support item is Shirelia's Reverie. That item is amazing. And I think the Locket is... I think that the Locket is a situational support item against AoE comps. I don't think it's in a general support item. But why isn't Ashe... wait. Also, why Ashe isn't used much? Wait, why? Well, Ashe isn't used much because, I don't know, I think people forgot about Ashe, and she's hard to use effectively in solo queue, but Ashe is I think Ashe has been fine for a long time. I think she's actually pretty solid. She has she has the second highest range when it comes to laning phase of all the AD carries. She's only outranged by Kate. Other than that, she has a range advantage on every other AD carry, so she's actually pretty good in the lane, but... What do you do when you're playing AD carry and your support is so aggressive you either protect him and lose CS or get CS and let him die? You either communicate with them and be like, hey, I think we should play less aggressively, or maybe that they're right and this is a lane that you should be playing aggressively in. And then you play aggressively with them and win the lane if they're right in how they should be playing aggressive. For example, if you're playing Janna MF and you're farming at level 2, you're playing that lane way wrong. Janna MF is like the strongest lane combination at level 2. You go crazy and you go super aggressive at that level, but should Morello's and DFG have their recipe swaps so Cages builds into Morello? No, I saw that post, but I don't really agree with it. Morello's and DFG, like, they're two very similar items, and I don't know. I can say the answer to the Nivea thing again. So, with the Nivea thing, like, if you're laning against a Cassiopeia as a Nivea, you just save your spells. So if Cass wants to play aggressive with you, then you use your Q and you don't miss it. If she wants to play aggressive with you, you stun her, Q her, E her, and run away, and then you win that trade. But if she wants to play aggressive with you, and you miss your stun, you're going to lose that trade, and you're going to die. Like, you're going to die and lose that trade because you missed your stun. So if you're playing a Nivea like that, if someone tries to trade you with like a Rise or Cassiopeia, you hit your stun and even. And if you do that, you're going to come out ahead of that trade. And if you miss, you're going to lose that trade. And that's how champions like Nivea work out. So. Yeah, you don't see Morello's because there's no reason to buy Morello's. DFG has very similar stats, and it's just a better item. So. Like, why would you get Morello's on Xerath though when you can get a DFG? It's the same stats, and it's like, and then you also have the active. Well, they can't continue being aggressive if you QE and run away. Like, they can't continue being aggressive. Like, if they chase you, they're also missing. So yeah, you're gonna miss CS, just run away, but they're gonna miss CS too. So. Anytime you're playing like a high cooldown burst champion, you don't like, you use your spells and then back off. You don't use your spells and then keep fighting when you don't have any more spells. So that's true. You're not in DFG range on Xerath very often, so I guess that's why you might go Morello's. Just not a big fan of the Morello's as an item. Yeah, I wouldn't get either on Xerath personally, but yeah, you can add me if you want. I don't care. I mean, eventually when I hit the friends list cap, I'll start removing people, but I'm not there yet, so. What do I think of Ziggs jungle? I don't know. Haven't seen enough about it. I don't know why you jungle him. He's incredibly strong in the lane. Like, the one game I played as Ziggs, I played a normal game with Ziggs last night, and I completely dumped on this Cassiopeia I laned against. Like, this Cassiopeia hit me with one poison by the time that we were level 8. Because I just outranged her so hard. I just harassed her with bombs and my auto attack while being out range of all of her spells. So his laning is really, really strong. I don't know why you would jungle him. Like, he wouldn't really have very strong ganks, I feel like. He'd be very blue dependent. You'd have to run like a non-blue dependent mid. I don't know, like, you wouldn't have very strong dragon control. Like, if you're going to jungle him, you would have to set up your team comp around it. So you'd have to run like a mid that doesn't need blue, and you'd have to run like a bruiser top that's gonna go Wriggles for buff control that can like tank and kill dragons and barons, or like grab a Wriggles on your 80 carry so that you can successfully get dragons. Like, you'd have to build your comp around a jungle Ziggs. It could work, but in solo queue, like, you'd have to be careful, because like, if you play jungle Ziggs, how are you gonna get dragons? Like, you'd have to have like your 80 carry get Wriggles to be able to tank dragon or something like that. So let's see here. I mean, I don't know. I haven't seen Ziggs jungle. Maybe it works, but from my initial impressions, it's like, okay, if he has a pretty fast, like, I heard he has a good level 4 time, like 330 level 4. No, I don't do 1v1s because I just don't have the time. Like, I don't do 1v1s or private lessons or anything. I just don't have the time. But yeah, I guess like Ziggs jungle, maybe it would work, but I really feel like you'd have to build a team around it. So yeah, there's my cat. Alright, any more questions? Got like, you guys have 5 minutes to ask more questions, then I'm gonna go ahead and get started with the next replay. So I'm actually gonna go get a drink of water real quick, and I'm gonna grab a drink of water, come back, and answer any questions that you guys have for like the next 5 minutes. So ask away.